everybody watching and listening, stop and think about the most impactful people in your product development team. What separates them? I'd bet a lot of money that they have great product knowledge. They know how to clearly communicate what we need to build, why we need to build it, how it's going to make a difference. All of those things, that is more important than ever.
But at some point, fundamentally in each company, they need people who really know how to do the humans, not AI, to offset and balance and integrate with the AI results, to drive it, to empower it, to enable it, to partner with it.
How are you maximizing the value of every line of code that's written? I think of like a lifetime value of every line of code. How do you maximize that? And that's by having them build the most impactful things. How do you figure out what are the most impactful things? Go read Bob's books, right? Everything about talking to the customer, validation, understanding product market fit, understanding competitors. Hey folks, a quick break to invite you to my reigniting of weekly content I'm creating, live streaming, helping you with the problems and questions you have. Every Thursday at 11 a.m., I go live on Twitch and YouTube talking about leadership challenges, agile challenges, whatever it may be. I kick off the first 15 minutes talking about something that I know is important in the industry. And then after that, it's your opportunity to bring questions, frustrations, just vent, whatever it is. Come there and get free help from myself, from other viewers. Very excited to be doing this again. Started it back in 2018, took a little bit of break, and we're back. Speaking of back to the episode.
Entry music. Da, 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 da. It's the Bob and Josh Show.
What the heck are we going to talk about today? We are talking about that I believe more than ever in the world of AI and vibe coding and all of those buzzwords you hear out there, good product leadership is more important than ever. Why is it more important than ever? It's more important than ever because now you can build at light speed or 100x or a million x. Everybody's a builder. All of those buzzwords and things you hear out there, there's theoretically a greater capability to build more, build faster, build all of the things. But no matter what, having that great context of what we're building, why we're building it, why it matters, all the things that the legendary Bob Galen and his product owner book was written about many moons ago, all of that still holds firm. In fact, my argument is it's more important than ever. So that's today's topic, why product leadership matters more than ever. Good news, you have somebody that's a bit of an expert here in Bob. He's written a book and revised a book and relaunched a book. So you're in a good company here. So Bob, the product lens, do you know anything about it?
A little bit, but as you're talking, my brain, we can stay in Productville, but my brain was also going to, so we're talking about AI isn't going to replace good product managers or good product leaders and good product leadership.
Yeah. And
I would buy that. So there's a stack of experience in product, and AI may disrupt, early or entry level product definers or something like that. But at some point, fundamentally in each company, they need people who really know how to do the humans, not AI, to offset and balance and integrate with the AI results, to drive it, to empower it, to enable it, to partner with it. I would argue, Josh, and don't let me take us off the rails, but I would argue that that's true in software development as well, architects and designers. I would argue that that's good. There's some people who are trying to replace managers with AI. I would argue that that same thing, junior managers versus senior leaders. I don't think AI is going to replace that. So I think there's this layer. We can drill into the product today. There's this layer of experience, real experience, not bravado experience, but real experience, real results on the part of the humans. That is the success proposition. I have a twist. I
Mhm.
actually think a lot of companies don't get this.
Oh, yeah.
And I see them looking at AI replacing the entire stack,
Yeah.
right? And in fact, a company that will remain nameless that I was talking to, a very senior leader there, and they were doing 5-year planning, 2 to 5 year planning for AI. They were um, they were planning human resource reductions. They were planning headcount allocations, budget, and things like that. And they were betting on. I don't think they thought of it as a bet. I think they thought of it as this is sound decision making. AI is disrupting, and they were reducing. They were discarding experience. They were discarding. They were minimizing. They were going very low on human experience. And my thought was, I was talking to someone about it, and they were like, "Yeah, that's just a natural thing. And if they make a mistake, they can course correct." And I don't know if they can, because you're not course correcting with AI. You're course correcting with, I fired all of the architects.
Mhm.
Now can I actually hire good ones back again and get them to understand our stack? Or I'm going to fire all the product leaders who have incredible domain experience. Not all, but I'm going to fire so many of them that we don't have that expertise level
Yeah.
anymore. And then the thought, oh, we'll just hire them back. No, I actually think you've done almost irreparable damage to your company, because by the time you actually ramp back up to course correct, your competitors have actually accelerated behind you. So there's this, I think this is a strategic defining moment for companies as well that intertwines what we're talking about.
Yeah, I align very closely with you, and a couple thoughts. First and foremost, I have transitioned into a product guy. Why have I become a product guy? Because in my company travels, helping various companies, the problems I continue running into is a lack of product thought leadership. And I keep using product leadership without naming roles,
Yep.
because to Bob's point, the best developers, the best engineers, the best architects, the best everything in your product development landscape are those that understand the true product needs, not how it's, yes, it's important how it's built and all of that stuff, but what we're trying to accomplish, why it matters, how we're beating the competition, how we're going to accelerate, what the roadmap
Yep.
looks like, how we're going to evolve, what we're going to test, all of those things. When that context is in someone's head, they are more effective. And to Bob's point, this isn't just an AI thing. The lack of product leadership, really great product management, really great product development is pervasive throughout. And so the reason why this is important is because, in theory, it's arguable that you can move faster with AI. You're going to move faster. So making sure that you're still product centric, that you're validating with customers, that you're building out a roadmap, that you understand the outcomes versus the outputs and everything that goes along with that is more important than ever. So everybody watching and listening, stop and think about the most impactful people in your product development team. What separates them? I bet, I'd bet a lot of money that they have great product knowledge. They know how to clearly communicate what we need to build, why we need to build it, how it's going to make a difference. All of those things, that is more important than ever. So that's what today's discussion is really
Well, let's
about.
talk about real quickly, Josh. Let's talk about some of those attributes.
Yeah.
So as you were just talking, I was thinking of, they have courage, they have the ability to run experiments and to quickly learn. They understand that they have to talk to customers, they have to talk to other people that use the product. They can't just create it behind a glass door or something like that. They have to be able to communicate incredibly well at a variety of levels in the organization. They have to be able to communicate to technical people. They have to be able to communicate to themselves, and then to their leadership teams and to their clients. Um, what else? The soft skills are off the chart. Storytelling.
Mhm.
Last episode, their ability to tell stories, meaningful stories, their ability to make hard, risk-based decisions, right? Bold. I said courage or boldness, the boldness to do that. They may have to go up against the CEO. May have to buck other opinions and run some experiments and things. So these are incredibly rare people. These are valuable people. The other thing is everyone worries, oh, is AI disrupting me? Everyone, you want to, if you're not one of these, or if you're in the cusp of one of these, your aspiration should be, I want to grow into that. That's your defense strategy for AI. Now you're going to grow yourself so you can complement the AI. I just wanted to get into attributes. Other
Yeah.
attributes I missed, Josh? What do you think?
No, I think those are the communication, the defining what it is and what it isn't, and being able to communicate that effectively in all directions. So if you go to a classic product owner, product manager role, being able to communicate what we're building, what we're not going to build, what it is going to be, what it's not going to be, and making sure your engineering team understands that and can clearly go build the thing and can be laser focused on just, this is what's being asked of me. I can go knock it out. I can go do it. Making sure that the support team knows what's happening. The marketing team knows what's happening. The sales team. So everybody's in unison and we're all launching this product together and we're all speaking the same language. There's a ton of power or just like responsibility that is needed to do that and do that well. And again, as I mentioned, I've become a product guy because every company I've been called in to help, that's been the issue. The issue has not been, oh, our developers aren't fast enough. Oftentimes that's the symptom that I get called in for, of like, hey, can you take a look at our engineering team? It just seems like they're slow. We can't get them building things. And like listen, after a couple weeks of looking, your engineering team's fine. Can you level some folks up? Sure, everybody can do that. Yep. But the real problem is they are finding out what they need to build last minute. And then it's, oh, hey, build this thing, build it right now and have it done by tomorrow. And that's an impossible situation to be in. What you need is great product leadership. You need to give your engineering team or teams runway, visibility into what's coming so that they can be ready, so that when it's time to build, they go and crush it. And that's where, again, regardless of what's building the thing, if it's your team sitting next to you, if it's a team you have somewhere from a company you've acquired on the other side of the world or a couple states over, or it's an AI running in a data center somewhere, all of this product thinking, all this product leadership still has to happen, or else the products you build are going to stumble and fumble. And then you'll end up calling somebody like Josh or Bob because things aren't working and you need help. And we're going to roll it back and say, hey, the problem is your product level thinking doesn't exist.
I want to get into your story, Josh, and what you're doing, getting back to, like you're playing, what you're playing with. But I was struck with one statement that you made. I think you've said this multiple times, is the view that you are a product as well. Yeah. So part of product thinking, and I think this is powerful, this is reciprocally powerful, that we are products. Maybe we're our first product, like the oxygen mask metaphor, is we are the first product. So let's start considering ourselves we're a product manager of ourselves. So what are we building? Question is, what are you building? How are you building it? How fast are you building it? Are you talking to your customers? Are you experimenting? Are you maybe integrating with AI, whatever? So I just wanted to sort of share that because I was thinking that's a powerful mindset aspect.
Yeah, and I think that's very important for anybody that's listening to or watching this and is saying, okay, gosh, I hear you, Bob and Josh. I understand that, but how do I get better? I'm not a product manager. I'm not a product owner. I feel helpless. I feel like I'm going to get lapped, or I'm going to get, actually, no, you're not. So everything Bob just talked about is think of yourself as a product. As I'm coaching members of my team, we treat that like a product, and our one-on-ones are little sprints. And we talk about, hey, what are we going to do over the next sprint? How are we going to get better? What are the things we're going to try? Then we take a retro and look back. Okay, what did we try? How'd that go? Did it work? Are we excited? Okay, what's the next thing? We have a roadmap of these are the things over the next year. These are the things I want to get better at. And that's my job as a leader to help them. So you can product anything. In fact, whenever I get stuck, whenever I get to a situation and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to solve a problem. I rest on my product thinking laurels. I say, okay, let's reframe this as a product, because I spend every day of my life building products. So when I get stuck, let me build out a couple different views. What's the near term? What's the long term? How are they working together? What do I need to plan? Let's build a little sprint. What do I need to focus on right now? What do I not need to focus on? Who do I need to be communicating with? How is my work coming to me? How am I testing? How are all these things happening with what I'm trying to do in my daily life of building my business, growing a personal brand, running a podcast, having a newsletter, all of those things? Everything to me is a product. So everybody watching and listening, to Bob's point, you are a product. Think of yourself as a product, and you can build and refine those skills. And there's a ton of resources out there, good, reliable resources out there. And yes, it's a promo for Bob's book, but like Bob's product ownership book has been around for a long time and has been leveraged by a lot of really great leaders. So you have a resource right here in front of you, but also you can go get some of that wisdom and catch up on that when we aren't doing this. So it's there and it's validated, and you're already here. You already trust that knowledge. So lean into that.
Hey, Joss. So what have you been doing lately? Tell me.
So as I see AI coming at me, one of the things that I do is I learn by doing. So I'm building a product in the wide open, and I'm leaning into the vibe coding space as much as possible. And I am live streaming my experience of how I'm figuring out how to leverage AI to build products. And it's been a bumpy ride, and I've learned a lot. But one of the reasons why I want to do this is because I feel, as a thought leader, I have some responsibility that when words tumble out of my mouth, it's based on myself as a practitioner. So that's something Bob and I have always really leaned on, is that we are practitioners. So you can count on us because we've done the thing. We aren't just someone over there that says, oh, you should do it like this. He's like, oh, really? How'd that work? How many times you've tried that? I haven't. Well, that is not us. So I've been on a journey. I started like a week ago of building a product that I've wanted to build for like a decade. And I've been building it using Claude Code and doing my darndest to not write a line of code. And I've learned a lot and I've studied a lot. And it's a whirlwind because it's changing daily. So I've made a ton of mistakes, but I've started to figure a few things out. And that's why this topic came to mind, is that the way I started working with the AI to build the product is I was having a conversation. It was like and I actually met with one of the better developers I ever worked with. I met him for lunch, and I was talking about, I was treating it like I was talking with you, like a unicorn developer that has great product level thinking, that understands all of the tech, and we can have a couple of quick discussions. We can get on a whiteboard, we can draw something, and then you're off and running. And so what I was trying to do was I was trying to have a conversation, a back and forth with AI, just as I would if I was trying to refine some of my newsletters or something like that. And it just wasn't effective. It kept getting off course, and that was failing. So naturally, just as I talked about, okay, how would I coach a team to do this? What would I be saying to them? And that's when the product level thinking would really kick in. Like, okay, for any team I coach, the first thing we have to do is let's have great stories. Let's have great acceptance criteria. Let's get all that built out. Let's refine it together. Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about it. Let's build a plan for how that works. And then we load in the sprint and we go. And once I transformed into providing the context, the entire context of what's needed, of the reason behind it, work through the AC, have a dialogue, refine the plan. Then once I got to that point with AI and Claude Code, and I just said, okay, go, it all just was, it was the magic people talked about. We refactored a major piece from start to finish. It ran for like 20 minutes, making all these changes, running all of the tests, doing all of that, and it crushed it. And I was like, holy cow, wait a minute. I think I unlocked something. But that unlock only happened because I was able to communicate like a great product leader. And so that's why we're talking about this today, because to me, it's more important than ever.
In the intro, you talked about, I mentioned something about prompt engineering, and you said, well, I moved into context engineering.
Yeah.
And the scope of that is stories and acceptance criteria, what you talked about, and giving context, and also iterativeness, iterative understanding or collaboration. So did I capture that right? It's really taking that next step.
Yeah. So prompt engineering is the thing that you've been hearing for a long time and what people need to get good at. And again, that's how I started. I was having prompts back and forth. I was going back and forth with it and having a discussion. I thought it was getting to a spot, but it wasn't. It didn't maintain the full context of the entire discussions. So what I learned how to do is let me shape the context of, this is what I need you to build. This is why it's important. This is what it is. This is what it isn't. Remember, these are our standards. This is what success looks like at the end. Do you understand? And it would go off and it would build a plan and say, hey, here's the plan. Here's what I'm hearing you say. You want me to do this, this, and this. I think to do this effectively, these are the changes I need to make. Okay, I would read through it. Okay, understand. Got it. There's a little tweak. I'm a little worried about this. Let's clarify this. Go and research this and come back with a different plan. I would go through that just like you refine a story with a team and go and build that out. And then it gets to a spot where it looks good. And I say, okay, good, go. And then for the first time ever in my vibe coding experience, I said, go make it happen. And don't ask me if it's okay to make these changes. Just go ahead and make the thousands of changes that you have to make. Go do it. And it did it. And it checked itself, ran tests, validated tests, did all these different things. And it worked amazingly well. And I was like, wait a minute. How I'm coaching teams to always think like product. And I like jumped over that when I started. But once I recentered and like, okay, let's think and talk and communicate like a great product leader with my team. And my team is now Claude Code for this little side project. Actually, it's not a side project. I think it can become an actual like business, which I'm kind of excited about. Then it really started to accelerate.
I mean, as I listen to you more, what's ringing in my ears, Josh, is like traditional requirements. It's almost the same thing when we went to Agile. There were traditional requirements, which are these volumes, right? Pages and pages, SRSs and things, requirement SRDs, FRD, whatever, a lot of 3-letter acronyms and huge documents. And then we rebelled against that in Agile, but then we realized we struggled with that. And then we had this story artifact, but people didn't realize that stories still had to contain context.
Yeah.
And then organizations, I made a living helping organizations, sort of bulk up their stories and not just the stories they're written, but the conversation, get the balance for that. So it almost sounds like it's the same thing. You've iterated into the same thing. I wanted it to be easy, or they said it was easy, just do it. And then you anything that's producing something needs to understand your contextual requirements.
Yep.
So I'm almost thinking of it like iteratively from.
Yeah, that's exactly how I landed here because I bought into the hype of, oh, just tell it this is what you need and it'll go.
Yeah.
And as I went through that, and I've been sharing my story along the way, it's just in like day 2 and day 3, there's a lot of content that I've created where do not trust AI to build you a production level application. It can get you to a spot where you can quickly get a POC out. If you want to test it with some customers, you can do that. But you got to be really careful if you want to build a production grade product. And some of the feedback that I was getting in comments is like, okay, well, what does that mean? You say don't trust it, but can we trust it? How do we need to figure that out? So as I got challenged by some of the comments and the content that I was creating, it was, okay, what do I need to do? So again, as I mentioned, when I get stuck, I go back to something's a product. What do I do? Let me get the context. So started to build out that stories. And I don't believe you can one shot creating the context for anybody, whether it's a team, an AI, offshore team, whatever it is. If you just one shot it and you don't have a dialogue with it of, hey, here's what I'm communicating. Do you understand that?
Yep.
Tell me back what you see, what you're understanding. Let's make sure we are on the same page. So you have to have that dialogue. One of the great things Bob taught me a decade plus ago was a story is a promise for a conversation. And I've held that close to my heart and how I've run teams and how I've coached teams, and that still exists. I still have a conversation with Claude and I say, here are the things that I need. Here's the story. Here's the AC. This is what it looks like. Let's have a discussion about it. Go and figure it out and come back to me with your plan of how you understand this and what we need to go do. Then once we're on the same page, which is exactly what you do with a team in refinement or planning or whatever you want to label it, that still exists. And it's, I just continue to land on the belief that it's more important than ever.
Well, it's the human. What I'm reacting to is the human. We still need capable humans. Like what you're talking about is you're the product leader. You're the leader. You have the vision. You're not just writing static artifacts. I mean, you are. You're giving, but you're giving clarity. You're giving nuance. It's not AI cannot yet, I guess, connect to your brain and clearly understand your vision, clearly understand the opportunity space, clearly understand what's clear and what's ambiguous in that opportunity space, all of these variables, and then it needs you. So it's the team. It's that same metaphor of there's an execution team, and they're bright and they're capable, but we need someone leading them. And it goes back to what I was saying a little while ago, though. One of my biggest concerns is a lot of folks are dropping so there's either a lot of the discussion is AI replacing Blarg, right? And that troubles me. AI will replace junior engineers. Well, then how do we get seasoned engineers if we've just fired all the junior engineers? How do we create them? Oh, AI will replace all of the product owners because all it is generating stories. AI can generate stories. AI can generate sure, but are they cohesive? Are they aligned? Are they valuable? Do they meet the vision? Like Josh is talking about, and those are human factors. So it's this extreme overreaction by companies that I really, and even individuals. You see individual thought leaders doing this, but you see individuals pivoting. Like I'm talking to some developers and product folks and coaches, and one was talking about becoming a plumber the other day. They're talking about, what do I pivot to? What are safe? There's this extreme case of what are safe jobs that AI won't intrude on, and carpentry and plumbing and ditch digging, where farming came up. But all joking aside, what if these capable people pivot there? All of them, we're actually creating a potential dearth of human skill and human experience. What if Josh joined a company and he had a product incarnation and the leaders got excited and it's like, well, we don't need Josh anymore, right? And they whacked Josh out and they just started running with it. So
Yeah,
I just see that trend happening and it concerns me. Again, not anti-AI. It's beautiful, this synergy and the capability and the potential, but there's a lot of knee-jerking bandwagonitis out there that I really worry about.
Yeah, I've used this analogy before where, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, there was a rush to offshore because we could get the same thing done cheaper. And at that point, the teams that were successful with that, the companies that were successful with that, were the ones that had great product level communication and clarity. And so we've accelerated, or we've reduced the cost even further of generating code. We can generate structural text. That's what AI is very good at. It's very good at generating structural text, but we have to give it the appropriate context. Every time that AI has gotten things wrong when I'm building the product that I'm working on, it's because of me. It's not because AI was stupid or AI didn't get it. It was, oh, I need to refine how I'm communicating with my development team. That is no different than if I'm the VP of engineering and we're leading a product and I'm working with our product team and our developers and we end up building a thing and we ship it and nobody uses it. Like, well, wait a minute. What did we do wrong?
Right.
How are we not syncing up with the customers? How have we not validated that this is something that they want, that's going to change the way they work fundamentally, that they're excited about? Why aren't we having that dialogue and discussion? That still has to happen. What I coach teams and companies on is developers are going to develop. Stuff's going to get built. If you put a developer on a team, they're going to write code. That's what they do. How are you maximizing the value of every line of code that's written? I think of like a lifetime value of every line of code. How do you maximize that? And that's by having them build the most impactful things. How do you figure out what are the most impactful things? Go read Bob's books, right? Everything about talking to the customer, validation, understanding product market fit, understanding competitors. All, like there's reams and reams of texts that are out there that teach you how to do that. But you've got to think about, I now wield this amazing power to generate tons of structured text. Am I going to use it, and is it going to be coherent and reliable and consistent and deliver value to our customers? Yes or no? Last I checked, AI hasn't figured out how to validate that with customers. Maybe that'll get figured out someday. I don't know. But right now, that's still a very human thing that has to happen.
Or even the prioritization, the selection, this understanding nuance of market. It would be a case of, I mean, is AI going to replace CEOs? And I don't think many CEOs look at themselves as being replaced by it right now. They're replacing swashes of their organizations, but they're not, because of the nuance of their decision and leadership. And I mean, the market analysis, the market awareness, the depth of their experience across domains, their ability to lead, soft skills. I'm talking about the good ones, right? The good ones are irreplaceable right now and for the near future. Metacaster's Josh is talking about his experiment. The question is, do we have enough Joshes? Do we have enough good CEOs? And that's where we need to go. We still need human evolution, the human improvement, not evolution, but human learning and improvement to come in and to become like Josh level product guys or gals or Bob level leaders or product folks. We don't have enough of them. We got lackadaisical in the agile community with that. We have a lot of mediocrity. We lacked a lot of excellence. We still need to fill that excellence. And that AI plus mediocrity is just going to be generating mediocre
It's going to generate
platforms.
Mediocre faster.
Yeah, much faster.
Yeah.
And propagate it. And mistakes, much faster mistakes. Forget experimentation, mistakes and errors and failures and things like that. Which
it's fine if you fail faster. Like that's an agile thing that has been, thrown around for years, for decades. Failing faster. But what does failing faster require? Failing faster means you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, you say, how do I not make that mistake again? So it's everything Bob talked about. It's that learning that you have to be able to do, that you have to adjust, you have to make those little tweaks along the way of, oh, that didn't work. So in theory, you can iterate faster. But again, every company that I've ever helped that has been stuck, it hasn't been a team's capability to get product built. It's been building the right thing versus the wrong thing, impactful things versus wasteful things. That's been the real issue. So that's why today's episode is all about great product leadership, regardless of role, regardless of what label you have. Great product level thinking and leadership is more important than ever.
Complemented with AI, as AI accelerates. I'll put it in other terms, Metacasters. As AI accelerates, we need more Josh. And with that, from beautiful downtown Cary, North Carolina,
and beautiful downtown Fuquay Arena, North Carolina,
I'm Bob Galen.
And I'm Josh Anderson.
Shake
and bake.
Take care, y'all.